We are officially live. Let me send you all this link in case you want to share, and then we'll get started. I'm so excited.
Me too. This
I
is
think
awesome.
we all need this right now, honestly.
I know, with everything going on, crazy.
All right. So,
crazy?
what was that?
Is it crazy over there?
Oh yeah, big time. Everywhere, honestly, but specifically, I think in bigger cities, you definitely see a lot more of that. But we're on, what's it called? Curfew right now. It gets earlier and earlier, you know, and this today was at 5.
Damn.
All right, so I just sent you all the link and we are officially live. Faye will be joining us in the comments on YouTube. If you all would like, I sent you all the link as well in case you want to see any of the live chats.
Okay.
And
Okay, let me get it on my phone.
Folks can also ask questions on there.
Awesome. Let me send
it through the chat of the Zoom.
What's your YouTube channel?
So it's on the Mujeres de Maiz one.
Yeah.
And if not, you know, I can chime in terms of like what's on the chat and everything. No worries.
Sorry, it's because I don't even know how to work this app.
I know we all having to learn all the techie stuff, huh?
Well, we found it.
Hey, there y'all are. Alrighty, so we'll give folks a few minutes to join us and then we'll get started.
Okay, cool. Sounds beautiful. You guys are even organized via the internet.
Sorry.
What was that?
Oh, you guys are even organized on the internet. Because your event, your life are organized.
I know.
Yeah.
Got it. But it's been interesting, like I think for a lot of folks sharing, especially like the music, right? They're like, wait, I'm not used to this, you know, because a lot of the time is that the ambiente, right? Like being able to be in a crowd and that engagement and that energy, right? And so I think it's very different when it's virtual, right? Pero aquí voy a andar, you know? So I was like, I'm gonna dress up, dance with my little dog and so I'm really, really excited. But I think regardless of whether it's virtual or in person, like it definitely changes, but the energy is still there. You know what I mean? It's not bound by like time or space. So I think that, you know, I'm really, really grateful that y'all are here. But with that said, I think we should get started because we're pretty much already getting started. So, hi everyone. My name is Monica Hurtado and I'm here with Mujeres de Maiz. I'm really, really excited to be hosting today for our Mujer, Eres Music Mondays, where we feature badass mujeres within the music industry and really doing some powerful work, right? And seeing music as a form of medicine, really. And also, especially during these times, I think it was so beautiful because when I saw you actually perform live, right, at our Mujeres de Maiz live event, and I was just like shook, you know, like, work. I was just there like, damn. And every time it got better, and like, I don't know, like every time I was, you know, you watch a movie and you're shook, but then it kind of eases out, and it's like, no, kept like going and going, like fire and fire and fire. So I was really excited that, you know, this week it's just so aligned that I would be hosting this week, and I'm really, really excited that it aligned not only with time but also with y'all, right? So I'm really, really excited about that. So I wanted to see if y'all want to do a quick check-in. How are y'all doing? How are y'all feeling? And how are you coming in, you know, to this virtual space today?
Well, personally, we went to the protest yesterday, so I'm still like shook of what's even happening in the world right now, because it's a lot. It's a lot to like take, you know, because I never even thought I'd see that, you know, like the kids of my kids would see that, but I don't know, it just surprises me like what's going on in the world right now. Like it was crazy. They were like throwing what is it called,
the
tear gas, and like our
Shooting at
faces
us.
were burning, like just rubber bullets like flying everywhere. It's just crazy, like seeing people loot the stores. Like that's what's really getting to me too. Like that's crazy. I've never seen that, you know, in my life.
And the craziest part to me is the way that the news portrays it too, because everybody believes what the media is doing right now, and you should be out there seeing what's really going on.
Yeah.
When we're having peaceful protests and we're getting attacked, and we have no weaponry, nothing to even defend ourselves, and we're the ones being attacked. But the news doesn't say that. They just bring up the looters and everything.
Yeah.
And the craziest part too is when the yesterday in the San Diego protests, when they marched on the freeway and everything, there was a news media blackout for like 3 to 4 hours before any news coverage on it. And yeah, so it was all up to the people that were protesting to be doing their live videos, and that was the only way people San Diego and beyond were able to see what was really going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's true, like being able to look back, right, at different uprisings and, you know, historically, right, in our past, like our ancestors, and now, like you said, right, being witnessing and experiencing and participating in a lot of the uprising that's going on right now, you know. But with that, there's so much, you know, there's so much that comes up, right, and it can be really heavy. So I did want to make sure we checked in and also really honor the times that we're in, right? And being able to also kind of ground ourselves in that before really going into the music. And I think it's really powerful because your music, it feels like an offering for folks right now during this time. And so I just wanted to, you know, start it off with that, just checking in, you know, everything that's happening in our world, and how we're doing, right? And then how music plays a role within all of that. So with that being said, I did want to formally introduce you. Also, I have the bio. This was work, the bio that we have.
Yes.
Awesome. Alrighty, so we are with Verde right now. I'm so excited again in Mujer Eres Music Mondays, and we will be doing some Q&A at the end. We'll be checking in and doing some songs, so please make sure to give us some love through the chats. We're also going to be on Instagram. Ask any questions, give any porras, and so. But without further ado, we want to introduce Verde. Indisputably one of the most acclaimed hip-hop artists and producer of her generation, Verde has carved out her own lane, that's right, through a combination of impeccable wordplay and revolutionary concepts. Over the course of her illustrious career, she released a series of independent releases, quickly rocking up over 46K streams on SoundCloud. After several years of development, she made her recorded debut as a teenager, Saving the People. So I just want to say, like, I really think the work that you're doing is very unique. And really, so when you said, right, like, in your own lane, I feel like it's like literally creating something new, right, in so many different ways because of the different intersections, the different pieces that you all bring together, which I'm sure I don't even know all of it, right? But from, you know, someone that listens to your music, I think it's really beautiful to be able to see, like, wow, you know, the creativity behind it, and more than anything, like the depth of the content, right, that is being shared, and the palabra that's being shared. And so I'm like, wait, I remember you were like, it was one song after the next, and I'm like, hold on, I just got to process this first little, this first little verse right here. Like, give me some time, you know? But I just think, yeah, I just wanted to say, you know, I believe that you're doing powerful work and also very unique work, and that you're really groundbreaking, you know, being able to trailblazers, right? Creating your own path, being able to take from here and take from there, honoring our ancestors, but also moving forward, right? Right. So I just wanted to say that. So what do y'all have for us first?
So thank you for sharing that, and I appreciate you so much for even listening, because some people, could hear it, but they don't listen, to the message. Um, but we have a song, it's called Illegal Aliens, and that's the first song we'll be doing today. So without further ado, let's do it.
Yeah, 97, 98, divine creates a rhyming greats. His minds were made from outer space, and they were named Bernice and Ruben. They were far from human, the closest things to aliens. Created the alias. The guys took their brains from them right out of their craniums. Replaced it with uranium, enough energy replenishing the whole stadium. Stuck to these streets, but the pavement's just a place for us, a temporary home. Put your fingers up and we'll never feel alone. Put your fingers up and help me find my home. Calling for a mothership, overthrow the government. Nah, boy, I've been done with that since every Independence Day. I think of Independence Day, and I don't want to end this way. I just want to get away. My people illegal aliens, that's just the way it is. Y'all will never understand. Coming to another land just to get another chance, but never get the upper hand. What's up with that? So go ahead and say we're friends, but y'all will never understand the life of an alien. That's just how it is, and it has to be this way. We on the same planet, but we galaxies away. We come in peace like we aliens. We want to be free. Aliens, aliens. We come in peace like we aliens. We want to be free. Aliens, aliens. They taking away my people, calling us illegal aliens, putting us in cages for experiments. I'm innocent. That's what my mama said before she was shot for being an immigrant. Is this what it takes to be an American citizen? I'm sick of this. There's more than 44,000 people stuck in imprisonment for being different in their melanin, for being from a different heritage. Inherit this and cherish this, cause modern day rappers seldom and sell them this. I predicted this from Genesis to the apocalypse. They cannot demolish this. We the aliens coming from a rocket ship. My consciousness be telling me what they be doing to kids without a citizenship. I'm calling it quits to anyone who's not even honoring this. It's bigger than this. I do this for all the families and all of the kids, cause we are all equal. I don't need to show you no documents. We come in peace like we aliens. We want to be free. Aliens, aliens. We come in peace like we aliens. We want to be free. Aliens, aliens. We come in peace.
Yes. Talking about them protests though. Cool. I know. I mean, at large, I feel like your music speaks volumes, right? But specifically right now in so many different ways, right? Whether that's specific to topic, right? There's so much that is very relevant right now, right? And that directly connects in, even though it may seem, right, different topics, but a lot of the words talking about our own liberation and what that would look like, right? Centering some like music and concepts that are radical and revolutionary, right? And being able to be almost like visionaries of what that world could look like. So if y'all want to share a little bit about the song we just heard.
Yeah, so that song isn't released at all. We made it a few months ago. Yeah.
I think like last summer. Oh,
well, we probably made it around the time when it was really going haywire, the whole like I would want to call it concentration camps, because that's what it is, but it was when the whole like ICE thing was going really like, I mean, it still is, but when it was going like really bad, and we wrote that song, and we thought the beat sounded like, like alien vibe, but we like flipped it into being like illegal alien, and like it's very powerful for people who especially have like people in their family who aren't like documented. And honestly, the song like speaks for itself. Like we want and we are putting attention to those type of subjects that don't want to be talked about, and especially like right now, like no one's paying attention to that, and there's still kids like in these camps, like just caged and sleeping in on the ground, like I don't know, but that's just injustice, and we want to talk about that and spread light on that subject. If you want to say something else.
She covered it.
You're like, you said it all.
Yeah, but no, that's a big song for us because it's, our people, and they need a voice, especially in a time where like this, where they don't even have a voice and they're not even treated like a human, and they're putting in these shelters that are, man, comparable to what she said, like concentration camps. But the other crazy thing why we called it illegal aliens is because it's crazy that we're called illegal, as cliche as it is, on stolen land, especially when half of California and all of Texas used to be Mexico until they kept killing our people so much that we just gave them our land. And that's where that song comes from, because how are we illegal when this is our land?
Yeah.
And especially when plays into right now, they got this land from looting. Yeah. And now since they're on the other side, the losing side, it's a difference, So yeah, that's for our people, we're a voice for the voiceless, basically. And
exactly,
we're not illegal.
I was like, I haven't heard this one yet. Yeah, I think that's really dope, right? Being able to take those words, right, and also almost like flip them to a certain extent, right? Like, and a lot of the times you see that, right? Like, how are we reclaiming certain words and bringing, like you said, being able to bring the light, right? And being able to use those terms, but flip them. And yeah, I was feeling the music. I was like, I feel like I'm in space right now. Yeah. I went to a whole nother universe. But thank you.
Also, it should be mentioned that she produced that beat. She made that whole beat. I came to her house one day. She's like, "Look at this new beat I made," and then we're like, "Let's write to it today."
I know.
And that we finished that song that day too. Yeah. That she showed it to me.
Crazy.
That's important. That was a big deal. That was a small little detail we forgot.
I forget I'd make the beat. I don't even know what I do.
That's hella dope. Yeah, and that's the other part too, is like being able to see in the ways in which it's kind of like that rasguachismo. You get creative with what you have, right? And being able to make beats with not only like, equipment to make beats, but I've also seen you, make beats with all kinds of things,
Yeah.
Shit, I never thought, I would have never thought this. But I think that's really dope, being able to kind of incorporate kind of that rasguachismo, right? Like resourcefulness and like really that creative spirit of being like, wait, we can make something with all of these things that we often don't think we can, right?
Yeah.
So yes, honor that too, not just the rapping, which I don't know how y'all do it. I'm just like, but also, right, the beats behind it, because it all kind of comes together. Cool. Yeah. Thank you for sharing a little bit about the song. I think it's really dope to not only listen to the music, right, but to be able to hear the reflections, the background, a little bit more of like the behind the scenes, right? So thank you for that. So what is our next jam?
Oh. Next one. Let me see.
Dealer's choice. Yeah.
Okay, this one's called La Piñata Se Rompió, and this was the second song. estamos presentes. Algo diferente, para alimentar la mente. Verde, métele consciente, inteligente, un liriqueo de repente. Flow original, tremendo sazón que te dice la verdad. Radiante cual sol, soy tira con estilo female, right? So hard and so raw. Natural le mete táctica y lo hace de una manera bien práctica. Ella tiene unas letras y lunática. Oye, verde, rompe la piñata ya. Represented, comprehended, independent, intelligence, alegrando nuevamente. Mira cómo le meto de mente. Intended a message, I blended into the sentence. Inherited from my descendants. I wear it like a healing stone pendant. Hip hopping on another planet. Mira cómo me la tiro in the English and the Spanish. You can hear all of the elements in my accent. Resurrecting all the legends from the casket. Hey, we gotta let you know. Hey, hey, viva la revolución. Hey, and let the truth be told. Let the show. Ha, la piñata se rompió. Okay, we gotta let them know. Hey, hey, viva la revolución. Hey, and let the truth be told. Let the show. Ha, la piñata se rompió. En el callejón, turn up the sound system. En la habitación, turn up the sound system. En la discoteca, turn up the sound system. Hasta en la cocina, turn up the sound system. DJ, turn it up, cause we're bringing that lyrical lightness. Spiritual lightness, cyclical. DJ, dame más, cause we're bringing it sick and so tight. Así, vete, dale ahí. Déjame fluir, como lo transmití. Energía poderosa cada día, generosa en la vida, en la nota, melodía, mariposa, metaphysical syllables, part of my ritual. I'm an indigo, suelta, revuelva and let it go. Ya le diste una, ya le diste dos, ya le diste tres y tu tiempo se acabó. So, pass me that stick, it's my turn. Hey, we gotta let you know. Hey, hey, viva la revolución. Hey, and let the truth be told at the show. Ha, la piñata se rompió. Okay, we gotta let them know. Hey, hey, viva la revolución. Hey, and let the truth be told at the show. Ha, la piñata se rompió. Turn up the sound system. En la habitación, turn up the sound system. En la discoteca, turn up the sound system. En la cocina, turn up the sound system.
Hasta en la cocina.
Okay.
That's one of my favorites. I was over here like, my dog is like, what are you doing? And I was like jamming.
Dog was taking a nap. And
I was like, I know. He's like, I was sleeping. And you really tried to get me up. I was like, all right, my bad. I'll let you rest because I tried dancing with him.
I thought it was a pillow at first.
A pillow. Honestly, like parece como es like my
Dude, oh my god.
That's why I was
and it's like right next to it too, so he straight up looks like he blends in.
Oh, no.
But anyway, I was like, I cannot sit here. It's because with me, I love dancing. I'm also a dancer, so for like I can't hear music sitting down. Like I feel like I'm like this. I'm like I just need to move, you know.
Yes, I know.
Music, so. Thank you. That's one of my favorite songs. And I'm just like, que viva la revolución. Like, yes. And I was like, y ahorita se está quebrando la pinche piñata. Anyway, so do you want to share a little bit more about the background of this song?
Yes. So the song is featuring Fabio. So that song actually, he wrote the verse first, and then he said something about la piñata first, and then ever since he said that, I was like, okay, well, it should like play on to that. So I definitely think like that's what we're breaking into, like the revolution, you know. And I love that song, honestly, one of my favorites too. And I love it because it's also like in Spanish, you know, so it's also a little like sounds like a cumbia, you know, like the beat. I made the beat too as well. So when I heard that flute, I was like, wow, that's it. That's it for me, you know.
Yeah, and like how the beat changes too, right? Like
yes.
you said that little bit of cumbia. I'm like, oh, okay, switch it up, and I like that a lot because it kind of it's merging, right? So many different elements, and also being able to have it speak to other folks that may not be able to understand, right? Some of the English is the language, right? So being able to provide that also in Spanish, so it allows other folks, right, to understand the lyrics, the letra behind it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's pretty much all I had to say about that song. It just like it honestly like uh came about by itself. I didn't really it wasn't really planned like the concept or anything. It was just and it was the last song that I made for that album. So that was the last one that I did for that.
I feel like sometimes those are the best, like the ones that you don't plan and the ones that just come through you, right?
Exactly.
I'm an over planner, so I'm struggling with that, right? But being able, I realize that perfectionism, that over planning, sometimes it's good because it's like that intention that you're setting, but at the same time, like allowing that medicine to just flow through you, right? And allow that to just be without necessarily like having to mentally think about it, right? But spiritually, emotionally, it coming through. Does that make sense? And so, I think a lot of the times too, it's like allowing the song to speak for itself, right? And I think this is one of those songs, right? That kind of like it speaks for itself, and it almost feels like one of those like I don't know, like cuando estoy bailando that song, I feel like free, and I think a lot of the times it brings up this this happy, like this good feeling, because a lot of the other songs that they're like empowering, but they're also depth. It's dense, right? There's so much to unpack. But I feel like this is one of those where it feels a lot more like upbeat, a lot more like celebratory or like freedom song type of thing. And so, yeah, this is definitely my favorite. But then I'm like, I'll listen to the other ones and then I'll be like, just kidding. But so far, right, from the music that I have heard from y'all, like definitely that's been one of my favorite for sure.
Thank you. So
of course. So what are we grooving to next?
Would you mind if I get the charger? Because I think my
dale.
From the laptop.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And also, meanwhile, as they're getting the charger, I did want to share a few things. So one, if you have a tip jar where folks can send donations, tips, right, through either Venmo, lo que sea, also let us know. That way we can let folks tuning in have the opportunity to support you and your work in that way.
Definitely. I do have, if anyone that's watching is interested, I do have like shirts. So I have the logo of the Saving the People album. There's that shirt, and I also have this one that's supposed to be me, and it's from the first release I ever did. And I also have CDs too. I have CDs here, and these are donation based. So honestly, whatever you could give, whoever's watching, and then I have stickers too.
Oh, also, I got to promo my girl right now. So
yes,
she has her first EP, but also in dark blue for the people who don't want neon green and don't want to stand out, even though you guys should. And she also has the Saving the People album cover, but in a forest green shirt. And then she also has her little logo flying through the air with the microphone on plain black and green shirts. And these are all beautiful shirts, and you guys are beautiful people, so you guys will be more beautiful with them on.
There you go. That's right. I'm definitely the one that likes the lime green. I'm like, I love them bold, bright neon colors. But thank you for sharing the merch. And I think a lot of the times, right, as artists, like it's really important not only like to sustain yourself, but also to sustain the work that you're doing. So thank you. We'll definitely have another time where you can share more of your merch, also where they can find your work, and also if folks want to send any tips your way as well. But
thank you.
Let us We're waiting for that. we're waiting for the next song. So
Okay.
if you are ready. So y'all got the charger situation figured out?
Yes. It's just
Take your time.
sorry.
I like that y'all are outside though.
I know. We had to. Wait, actually, I think it's. Oh.
No.
Okay. I believe it's working.
Should work, hopefully.
It looks like it's coming in and out.
Should keep it alive.
So if you want, you can put yourself on mute and figure that out while I do a little bit of announcement. Does that work?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Cool. So thank you all so much for joining us here live with Verde on Mujer Eres Monday, right? Music Mondays with Mujeres de Maiz. And we will be having a different artist every Monday. Hopefully y'all have tuned in to the previous artists, and we'll continue to tune in for the other performers that we will be featuring. So I want to remind you all to comment on the YouTube, on the Instagram, wherever y'all are watching. If y'all have any questions, also drop those below, since we're going to be having a Q&A towards the end as well. So if y'all have any specific questions, and also please make sure that you support our mujeres, our artists, our visionaries, through right ways to make sure that the work is sustainable, right? So whether that's through the CDs, whether that's through the merch, right, or those virtual tips, I think it's really, really important. And it's through music, and it's through a lot of the work that artists do, right, that we are able to heal, especially during these times. So with that being said, I do want to check in. Are we set with the charger?
Yes. He's just getting extension cord, but
Okay,
I'll
cool.
keep going to the next song.
Okay.
And he's just gonna connect it real quick because this isn't working. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, well, if you want, we can wait, and you can share a little bit about where folks can find your work,
Okay.
listen to your music, things like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Instagram, toda la cosa.
Yes. Okay. So Instagram, Verde Hip Hop. I also have Spotify, Apple Music. You can find me literally anywhere, but it's under Verde. And I feel like there's other Verdes, but if you look up Verde Saving the People, there's no other one. So just look up that. I'm also on YouTube. I do like beat videos every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. And I make beats out of like random things or collab with other artists with their own instrument. And I use the machine to power all those beats. And where else? I think that's it. That's all you. I mean, you can find me really anywhere. Verde Hip Hop.
You're like you can find me everywhere. Yeah, that's really it. Just everywhere. You're like there's other verdes, but it ain't me. It ain't verde. It ain't the real verde.
Not the real one.
That's right. Thank you. We'll be sending that in the chat as well, so folks can check out your work and follow you on Instagram as well, so they can continue to, and your YouTube as well, if you want to share that towards the end. That way we can share that link with folks at the end, so people can tune in to the work that you're doing. All right.
Okay, so, now I am ready now.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Dale.
Yeah.
Okay, this one. I'll play it again. Beat the beat up, defeat the evil, swank my stilo. I'm saving the people, saving the people, saving the people. Boombox on the black top. The jam rock, second block, another brother getting shot. What you know, now the crooked cop, gun cocked, locked and loaded, popping poets with the finest focus. Contemplated suicide, emphasize the genocide, mankind. Televised tells lies to your vision till you realize. Third eye, paradise, not a part of this fucking parasite. Feminine poetry, heaven said, could it be one opportunity? Gathering unity into the community, speaking in the native tongue quite fluently. I can see the you and me. Yeah, I can see the you and me. There is corruption in the currency. Can't you see? Can't you see? Two-faced on the dollar bill, yo. 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 Can't fix pain with the pain pills. Fame kills, won't sell my soul to no record deal. Do you feel the secrecies in my frequencies? I can see the you and me. I can see the you and me. There is corruption in the currency. Can't you see? Can't you see? Industry leading you and me to division in every creed, breed, color, religion. Make the Catholic hate the Christian. America's a rich man's vision, but a poor man's prison. What? Beat the beat up, defeat the evil, swank my stilo. I'm saving the people. Saving the people.
Saving the people.
The people. The dudes and the demons screaming. Where do I find meaning in a world full of trees and repeating? Pete and the senators' genitals took them off the high pedestal. Fuck your federal, credible, impeccable, representing feminine. Fuck your dead presidents. With the synonyms, womanist, goddesses, social solitude, screw the system. Isolate me to the solar system. I don't want to be a victim of this victory, misery, music, singing my symphony to the Statue of Liberty. Watching you rappers putting your dick inside the rap industry. What an epitome. Speaking us differently so the violence will cycle on the vinyl. I'm in denial and using the rifle. These are my survival tactics. The factors, they be steady clapping when you rapping about bitches, hoes, and asses. Stick your tongue up to mass it while I move the masses. These are my survival tactics. Beat the beat up, defeat the evil, swank my stilo. I'm saving the people. I'm saving the people. I'm saving the people. Two-faced on the dollar bill, yo. 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 Woo!
Make some noise, everybody.
Yes. We're like, woo! See, that's one of those that I'm like, okay, hold up. So like, I would need you a few hours, maybe a few days, like line by line, you know? Which is actually something
the lyrics on Genius.
What happened?
I said if you want to look up the lyrics, it's on Genius, the website.
No, really, I will do that.
Thank you.
Of course. I think there's just so much, right? There's so much power. There's so much medicine that I really want to be able to like unpack, right? And being able to also understand, you know, there goes a lot more than just the palabra, right? But the play, the specific word choice, the beat, like everything, you know? So being able to really honor and, you know, celebrate, like, and notice, right? Affirm and honor every single element and every single part, every single palabra, right? That came together to create this song, this offering. So yeah, I will be looking it up. That's one of those songs that I was like, yeah, I gotta look up the lyrics, porque you know, you gotta really understand, like you said, right? Like you can hear, but if you're not fully listening to the lyrics, right? And even then, right, you're listening, pero también I'm like, hold on, I gotta process, you know. I gotta process this and being able to let it digest, right? And I think this is definitely one of those songs that have so much that carries so much power that I think it's important for us to really dive into, right? So I want to know more about the background of this one. And I know you also share like there was a few things that you said in the song that really stood out to me. It was the I can see you in me or something like that.
Yeah.
And that part was very like it really stood out to me, and it kind of reminded me of the philosophy of in Lakesh, right? The idea that like we are a reflection of each other. Que tú eres mío soy yo, right? You are my other me. Actually, I have it right here.
Oh, wow.
My shit, you know. But really being able to understand, right, that like that if and I don't know again, you know, if that was the intention, because I think a lot of the times too with music, it's not only the intention that you all are bringing, but then it's also the interpretation and what speaks to us, right? In certain ways, similar with any other forms of art, right? Whether that's painting or poetry, you know, there's definitely that intention, but then for every single person, it may speak differently, right? There may be certain things that really call to certain people or certain things that surface, right? That makes sense for us, and I think that was one of them that was like, oh. And then of course you were mentioning a lot of like the corruption, all of this stuff, and I was like, yep, that's right. Let it be known. Let it be known.
Yes.
I'm correct.
That song, actually, I wrote it in like various different days. Like I had like just pieces of the verse and like different pieces of my notebook, you know? So again, that one came together. It didn't really like, it was really just my thoughts on what I thought of the world, you know, that we live in. As sad as it is, you know, there is a lot of corruption in the world we live in, and saving the people literally is like me spreading the message, you know, me saying like the truth, and that will save the people, you know. um but yeah, that song's one of my favorites as well. I decided to name the album that just because that song was like extremely powerful to me, and I felt like all the rest of the songs from the album related to that same topic, like me spreading the message. And you know, there's a lot of messages that honestly shouldn't be said with other people's music, you know, like I just feel like the youth really shouldn't be like, especially the youth, you know, because they grow up and they become, you know, the next generation. So I definitely want to spread like enlightenment towards the youth, and little by little, but you know, I'll spark at least the mind of someone to again make the difference, you know. But that song's really powerful to me as well, because it has like just different topics, like police brutality, there's the money corrupting, there's the rappers just talking about like money and like women and degrading them, you know, like it's a lot. So that was really the intention towards that song.
Yeah, I think there's a lot, like you said, right? A lot that comes together. And I think it's really dope to be able to think about, right? Like the seven generations that come, you know, after us, right? And how are we being able to leave those little seeds, right?
Yeah.
And being able to just, I guess, like plant those seeds and allow them to then, you know, go with it in their own way, right? Because we only have, like you said, right, sparking even a thought, a feeling,
Mm-hmm.
a question, right? Anything like that, you know, I think is really powerful, especially like you said, the youth, right? Like they're like jamming to these songs, and it's like I remember I was jamming to songs and I didn't even know what it meant, to be honest. There's
Yeah.
when you know, when I was young, and I was like, wait, I was dancing and shaking my butt to like something degrading me, you know? Like, hold on, you know? So I think it's really powerful to be able to recognize also the roots of like where hip hop, you know, came from, and I think being able to honor that as well and bring it back, right, to that intentionality. and being able to not only have like the beats and the jams and the feel, right, but then also the content of what's being shared, especially for our youth. And I know you are pretty young too, right?
Yeah. I'm
So
21. I'm 21.
okay, sorry if that was like intrusive, but I think it was just for me being able to see that. I think it's so powerful to be like, damn, like to be in that place, right, during that time in your life. I think is something so beautiful to witness, right? I think being able to witness that liberation, right, in whatever way that looks like, because that's what I see, right, when I hear y'all. And so being able to recognize like kind of like going through that inner work, right, and then sharing the palabra with other people. And I think especially right at the, like, I guess in that time of your life, does that make sense, of like being able to really put yourself out there in so many different ways, right? I did want to ask you, so when did you start creating music, beats, desde chiquita, rapping, all that stuff?
No, actually, it kind of, it's not embarrassing, but like it's because a lot of artists that I do know have been like rapping for so long, like, or just known about hip hop since they were younger, and no, my parents were really against hip hop, like, because they're super Mexican, they're super like, like they're also super religious, and they actually were even more religious like back then. And like my mom, and I could see why it could have a bad interpretation to some people, especially like the older generation, and I could understand that. So actually, when I first started like rapping, I was kind of hiding it from my parents because I didn't want them to know that I was, especially making that type of music, even though, it's not that type of music, it's this type of music. So it's like, um, it still trips me out that I was like hiding it. And I think I started when I was 18, either 17 or 18. And then I actually wanted to release the Saving the People before I turned 20 because I thought, dude, like I have to, like, I don't know, but I did release Saving the People when I was 19. And the first release was my EP, and it was called Sagittarius, and that was like just experimenting, just like, trying to find my sound. But yeah, I started when I was like 17, 18, and now I'm 21. So yeah, I'm still making a lot of music. I haven't released anything since our song, and that was last year, and it was breaking news. And that song, you could also find it on the Cypher Effect. That's actually why we dropped it, because the video was gonna release, and then we hadn't released the song. So that was my last release. It was last year. And yeah.
Also, shout out to Cypher Effect because they gave us a crazy platform. Are you aware of the Cypher Effect?
I don't. I am not. Let me know.
It's a YouTube channel and movement based out of East LA. And this guy, he films all of these ciphers of up and coming artists, mostly Latino and Chicano, Mexican. And not like he discriminates or anything, but that's just who gets a bigger platform on there because it's like who the fans are, and that's what they'd like to see, the Cypher Effect. So we were able to be featured on 2 of their ciphers. For people that don't know what that is, where they get a collective of like, 3 or more people that rap, and they get them on the same beat. And it's almost like they make a song on the spot, kind of, just all come with their own verse. So we were each in one of those. She was in an all-women's one. And yeah, it was a really good way to platform music. And then not only that, we were able to perform that song that we are just mentioning on that platform. And I think they have like 200,000 plus subscribers on YouTube, but they started literally just on like a rooftop in LA and just moved all the way up, and we did that at the YouTube studios. So it's crazy they're come up too. And the person that films it, JDS Films, is just one person, and he's filmed probably like over 200 videos of these people, and even like music videos and everything. And he's just a great person, and he's for the culture in both ways, not just hip hop, but for the people of our color and other colors. And to like add on to that, you mentioned earlier about like where the music came from, and that's a big reason why we protested, is because like we're not ignorant. We're expressing ourselves with a culture that was founded by Black people, give or take that there was Mexican people in the Bronx when hip hop was founded, who were also pioneers in the culture. We're not going to mistake the fact that it was our Black brothers and sisters, because we're all people of color that have been discriminated. They just have it worse than we do, and we shouldn't compare struggles, whatnot. But that's who originated this genre and this culture that we love so much. So that's why we have to stand up and fight with them. And on that note too, there's like literally like helicopters like around here, because we live not that far from downtown, and the protest is still going on today. And
Crazy.
yeah, so it's crazy because we hear
I
like
know.
you hear them coming in and around. Like they're like 4 blocks away from our house, like a few hours ago.
Yeah, the protesters, they were protesting in Balboa Park. I don't know if you're familiar, but it's a big park that's really known in San Diego, and they're out there still, and it's crazy. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, I think that's also part of it. Like we're en vivo, right? So it's like, oh yeah, what we're talking about also. Not only is it like, yes, during this time, right, in I don't know, in this world, in this lifetime, but it's literally like around us, it's happening, right? And it always is, right? A lot of the work that you're talking about is directly connected to the world around us. But I think in so many ways, right, when we're in a place of direct action or uprising, and you're literally in a place, right, sitting down and witnessing that while sharing your music, like that's a whole nother type of like I think the power that it brings too, right? Because it's I don't know, like that's literally happening right there. You hear it while you're sharing this. So yeah. And thank you for sharing that a little bit about, right, like honoring the work, right, and the music and the genre where it comes from, and always being able to ground it in that, right? But you mentioned something earlier. You said, oh, it's kind of like embarrassing or something like that. No, it's not. I was just like, hold on. I was like, took a note. Because I think a lot of the times it's like these ideas, right, of like, what does it mean? Even myself, like I remember the word artist is something that was even really hard, right? Like, oh, I'm an artist, like what? And people are like, so what's your medium? And I'm like, all and nothing. You know what I mean? And it made me feel like I don't know, embarrassed, right, of being around all these people who had this formal art education or music background, all of these different things, or years of experience and all of that, right? But the thing that no one can take away is like the experiences, right? The lived experiences that then translate through whatever medium that comes, right? And I think also being able to dismantle those ways of thinking, right? Of like, oh, I had to have like this degree or this education behind it, this experience, this validation, and really being able to come back, right? And being like, no, like it's not about the amount of time. It's not about the amount of so-and-so, like, right, experience or background or, educational, whatever, all that BS, of like really being able to see you and your work, right? And honoring that. And not being like, oh, well, it's a little, also seeing that, and not only not seeing it through a negative light, but even more, like seeing it that much more powerful. Like, yes, like I experience this and bam, like I just got it like that. You know what I mean? Like, so really like seeing that more, not only as not a negative thing, right? But being able to see it as one of your strengths, and being able to celebrate that, right? So I just wanted to make sure that we touched on that, because I'd be doing that to myself too, and I think it's really important for us to really take a step back and really validate ourselves and our work, and not undermine any of that, right? And instead being able to be like, holy fuck, that's right. I'm like, I don't know if I should be like, I'm over here like saying my words, but it's gonna be like, excuse me. But you know, we're speaking the truth. We're speaking in ways that, you know, we're able to, right? And so I also wanted to say that that's something that I really admire, is the ability to I guess, like, for me, I feel like I have something right here in my throat that just doesn't let me, you know. And I think part of it is that silence, right? That we have that silence that we have experienced, of, and also the silence that we then internalize and almost perpetuate within ourselves, right? And so, at least for me, it's something that I always felt like I am silencing myself, or that we have been taught to, you know, really calladita, you know, te ves más bonita, right? And like not being able to take that power of being like, no, I'm speaking up. That in and of itself is revolutionary, right? Taking up that space, being able to speak, saying the truth, right? How you're saying, and being able to really honor that, right? And not like, it feels like you're clearing that, right? And I think I just want to say thank you for that, because a lot of folks, right, there's so much medicine, so much work that people want to share, but a lot of the times it's ourselves who kind of, you know, make those blockages. And for a lot of different reasons, right? It's not just internally, which is a big thing that we learn, right? That it's external, right? Systems of oppression that then we begin to internalize. So yeah, we went on a whole ass little tangent, but I love it, you know, because I think we're able to have those conversations, right, beyond the music, but really being able to get to know like y'all and the work that you do, and putting that in the context of the world we live in. So cool. Do y'all want to share any other songs with us, or how y'all feel?
Let's do one more, if that's okay. Can we do one more?
Of course, please. I'm okay, like, so
this one's probably the most relevant to what's going on like right now.
Also shared on the Cypher Effect.
Yes.
Also, we performed it at your show, and this is the one where everybody's like, oh, and then we performed this one after.
So here it goes. Here it goes.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. There are people getting murdered, that's like all over the globe, but they got us all distracted with these working TV shows, and you just been too busy, you been stuck up on your phone. And honestly, I don't blame you, because it's hard to watch the news. Some stations racist and they're biased with their views, so it's hard to get the truth, and it makes it hard to listen. And that's the very reason I don't trust most politicians. This ain't just something that I'm busting coming from Amon. This is us trying to get some justice for Trayvon, Alton Sterling, Eric Garner, and Sandra Bland. Everybody put your hands up from the front to the back. We're not the police, therefore we won't give you where you stand. Everybody put your hands up and stick it to the man. We gon' teach you how to do it, how to stick right to the plan. We about to teach you how to take out Uncle Sam. Everybody stand up, put your hands up. I'm not the police, I won't put you in handcuffs. Everybody stand up, put your hands up. I'm not the police, I won't put you in handcuffs. Everybody stand up, put your hands up. I'm not the police, I won't put you in handcuffs. Everybody stand up, put your hands up. I'm not the police, I won't put you. Good morning, 2019. I thought this was the land of the free. I still hear my brother screaming. I can't breathe from all the police brutality. And actually, my family was taken away from me and from a different country. Now you see that this was never televised up on your TV screen. They distract your attention by touching on the screen. Pointlessly scrolling on your feet, feeding you irrelevant media immediately like the fast food that you eat. They killing all the animals from the land and from the sea. Nobody wanna see that they taking the honey from the bees. There's soon to be no bees, no trees, no leaves, no greens, and nobody. That's why VERDE is going extinct. Cause the only green that people really care about is the money creating all this greed. I want you to see there is a UNI in unity. Get up and stand up for what you believe. That's what Bob Marley was teaching me.
Everybody stand up. Put your hands up. I'm not the police. I won't put you in handcuffs. Everybody stand up. Put your hands up. I'm not the police. I won't put you in handcuffs. Everybody stand up. Put your hands up. I'm not the police. I won't put you in handcuffs. Everybody stand up. Put your hands up. I'm not the police. I won't put you in handcuffs.
1, 2, 3, 4. How come we can't feed the poor, but we always have the money to afford another war?
5, 6, 7, 8. Who do they incarcerate? Kids are stuck up in a cage, but we want to make a change.
9, 10, 11, 12. All of us want the wealth, and they give us bills because they want us all to kill ourselves.
These are all the numbers that they handed my sisters and brothers up in a cell when Reagan was who made them cook the crack that they sell.
Pharmacies globally make about $1 trillion. The U.S. one makes over 500 billion. That's why they're giving the children all of this Ritalin and other types of pills that are constantly just killing them.
The people in prison is more than 2 million. The government spending at least 182 billion from people being in prison, and the revenues that they are getting are actually coming from the taxes that the citizens are giving them.
Stand up.
Put your hands up. I'm not the police. I won't put you in handcuffs. Everybody stand up. Put your hands up. I'm not the police. I won't put you in handcuffs. Everybody stand up. Put your hands up. I'm not the police. I won't put you in handcuffs. Everybody stand up. Put your hands up. I'm not the police. I won't put you in handcuffs.
Yes. And like, you know, you're like, oh, this is the song that we play like after. We're like, otra. That's what I meant by. That's what I meant by. You know, this like it's fire, and then you're like, all right, that's it. You know, like part ways. You're like, no, but hold up, we got more. let me just drop this real quick. You know.
That was funny. We were ready to be like done with that. We were ready to be done with that set that day because we know how like time sensitive everything was, and we're like, all right, this is the last song. We did that, and then the crowd just kept cheering.
Awesome.
We got a standing ovation and stuff. And this is before we told everybody to stand up and put their hands
That's
up.
right.
Before, yeah, and it's like I swear it was like a whole minute, and then you and the sound guy looked at us and said, one more. We're like, all right,
go.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
And that was also our last performance before quarantine started too.
I know.
That's right. I remember the live event was, that's right before everything started happening, because we also had an art show, right, the gallery, for folks to be able to see. And I was like, wait, we had to do a lot more. Like, I mean, there were folks that were able to see, right, the work, but we had to kind of move it virtually, right? But I'm really happy that you all got to perform right before all of this, happened. And especially a moment like that, right? Because I remember it's like, okay, otra, all right, I'll give it to you, But then it's like, más y más, one more, and so that was really dope. A lot of folks, I think it spoke to a lot of folks, and being able to really like, people were dancing, they were grooving, they're just like shook, I was like, okay. So I think that's really beautiful, right? To be in community and to be able to see that, right? Not only the process that you go through to create, right? But also the impact that has, within our communities, right? You get to like witness that and see that, that your music lives beyond you, right? And so I think that's really beautiful. Thank you for sharing that song. Do y'all want to share anything about this song? Anything that you want to share with us? I know you shared a little bit, but.
Oh, what do you want to say about it?
Well, especially because like, wow, it stuck out to me because he brought it up that the first lyric that I said was, "Good morning, 2019. I thought this was the land of the free. I still hear my brothers screaming, I can't breathe from all the police brutality." So like, that's crazy, because I was like, wow, that just happened. This is why people are protesting, not only because of that, but because it's been happening so frequently, but yeah, rest in peace to George Floyd. And that song just speaks so much measures to police brutality, and it amazes me. It's actually not surprising that it's still happening, and it's still very relevant to what's going on. Yeah.
And I think to mention at that time there was no like current, because you know how like every other day there's a video about police brutality or someone getting killed by police violence. Like at that time there was nothing. It was more just like she also made that beat, and it was a dope beat, and we were like, we want to like make something to groove to, but we want to make something that has meaning and has a message. That way it's not just a dance song. It's something that is could live forever and have a message. And yeah, it's crazy how that lyric that she just brought up, like hearing my brother scream, "I can't breathe" from all the police brutality, because not only did that just happen, and that's what George Floyd was saying while the cop was on his neck and publicly executed him, basically, but now our brothers are in the streets yelling and chanting with us that "I can't breathe, I can't breathe." So that could be taken in two ways, where it's just George Floyd and every other person that has been killed like that, but now it's us in the streets screaming that we can't breathe, protesting police brutality. And that's crazy. It's almost like a premonition. I don't know if that's beautiful or sad, but I think it's something to take into consideration, that if it's something that we could say and it's comes to life or has been so continuously relevant, it's something that needs to be said.
Yeah.
I'm glad that people have been talking about it. I'm sad that the circumstances, but I'm glad that people could hear the message.
Yeah.
And also about that beat, we made that beat one night, and she didn't like it at first because it needed to be all fine tuned, and then she fine tuned it. And I came over like a few days later, and I was like, "Oh my god, this beat's so good!" And that's when the whole police brutality thing became a message that we really wanted to touch up on. And I think it's still we just wrote a song recently about this. That's what's crazy.
Yeah.
Is like literally like 2 weeks ago we wrote something just based off of all this, and it wasn't even like oh, let's write about police brutality. She made another beat. That was I had constructive criticism on it too. So I was there too. But yeah, no, we made this beat, and then it just turned into police brutality. So I guess that's just something that we feel is something that needs to be touched up on, especially people of color. And I was telling or today actually that me and my friends, we used to be little skater kids, and one of my friends got slammed on his butt when we were jaywalking, and a cop like pulled us over and just profiled him because he looked older than everybody, but he was the same age. We were all 15, 16, and just skating, and he just slammed on the floor, made us empty our pockets and stuff. So that violated our Fourth Amendment, and it was assault and battery on us, and threatened us. And then by the time he also called backup, by the time backup came, he just let us go. He took off and said, "I have real criminals to catch," and drove off. And then the other guy waited for him to leave, and he was like, "All right, guys, get out of here." And we're like, "All right." After I don't know, it was just unnecessary. It was ridiculous, and we were lucky, that it wasn't anything worse. But it's just ridiculous that it's almost like a game to some of these cops. And I also want to mention that I've had encounters with good cops where we would skate in spots we're not supposed to. They're like, "Just get out of here and just do your thing somewhere else." And there's good cops out there, but man, there's just so many.
There's so many
there's so
that
much
are
ugly.
Yeah, that are just corrupt. Especially seeing like yesterday, especially seeing and experiencing how peaceful we were, and these cops just just like disrupting our peace with violence, and it's like it trips me out how people could just they just don't get it as much as you want to protest. There's some people that will never understand, and that's just the sad part about the whole everything that's going on. And yeah, it's crazy. It
Yeah.
trips me out.
I think also it's understanding, right? Like you're like, oh, the corruption within some of these cops, but it's also it goes beyond even that, right? Like what are the structures in place that then these officers are then a part of, right? So it's like, it's also good to think about like, yes, the cause, but then beyond that, right? What are the structures, what are the systems in place that then create this, right? And like you said, right, it's kind of like, it sucks that this is still happening and that it's still relevant, right? But at the same time, this coming through as a message, as a powerful message of like, wake up, right? Like this is happening. It's been happening. And now it's, you know, it has gotten that traction, it has gotten that attention, but this is not something necessarily new, right? And so being able to see that this is this has been happening, which is sad, right? But at the same time, really being able to take a step back and acknowledging that this is not something that is happening today. This is something that comes, you know, historically, and understanding the ways in which that policing is almost like different, and criminalization and police, you know, the industrial, whatever, all of that complex, right? But being able to understand the ways in which things are still replicated, right? The oppression is still replicated in different ways, systematically, structurally, even though they may not be. It's almost like this like modern day slavery, right? And so it's really important to be able to deconstruct all of those things. And I think it's true. Like there's people that it's just like it's a brick wall, you know. And I think it's hard because sometimes like there's that frustration, you know, like and like come on, like hello, abre los ojos, you know. But then at the same time, you know, understanding the ways in which I had access to this information, right? The ways in which the spaces that I was in that allowed me to develop my own self awareness and my critical consciousness, right? That not everyone has the ability, you know, to be in those spaces, right? Like for example, like my family, my parents, right? And so part of that is being able to call them in, you know, and share that knowledge, because otherwise it's just what we've been fed, you know, since we were little. So definitely thank you for that song. I think that was a great way to kind of close, right? With that song. I did want to take a little bit of time though to talk about if you have the time. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. But I did want to bring up a few things. So one, I wanted to ask, I know you shared a little bit of like when you started, you know, making those beats and when you started kind of rapping and all of that, but I wanted to understand a little bit more of your personal connection to the work that you're doing, right? What was that process like, right? Of being able to be like, okay, this is the ways in which I want to spread this message. These are the ways in which I want to express myself, right? What was that experience like for you? That relationship to the work that you're doing now, right? Being able to kind of like take a little peek of what that might have looked like, because a lot of the work that we do, it's not just the work, right? It's deeply connected to who we are and our own experiences. So I did want to give space to you to share a little bit of what brought you to your work, connection, and anything else you want to share.
Definitely. So I was really shy as as I was growing up. I was very shy. I would not want to even speak like during class, or like, you know, when the teacher calls on you and like to read something, like I would always just like be stuttering my words and like just so shy. And it's crazy because like all throughout, since like elementary school to high school, I was always like just like very creative, but I never knew what my medium was, like what is my form of art. Like I love art in general, you know, painting, dancing, everything, you know. And but as a kid, I was always really good at like English, you know, like English class or like poems. I love poetry. And like just and I discovered really like hip hop in college. So that was when I ran into a group of friends and they were like freestyling. And I just thought it was insane. Like it was just poetry to me. And And the more that I saw them do it, I was like, wow, like I could do that, but say something different, you know? So ever since I saw them doing that, I went home and then I started writing like a rap in rhyme, and and yeah, that's really the first time I just connected with it, and the first time I really discovered it and like came out of my shell, because I was very like stuck in there and just insecure, you know. Um and I think it surprised a lot of people that I knew, because they were like how did you come like from that to there, you know? Like I don't know, but um it still surprises me that I do this, and I still am a little bit shy like with people. Like some people I won't even tell them like, oh, I rap or whatever, because some people don't want to believe, you know, because oh, you're a girl, like, oh, I hate that whole like stereotype. Like I remember this one guy was like, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I make music, you know. And he was like, oh, what type of music? I was like, oh, hip hop. He's like, oh, so you make the beat, right? And I'm like, no, I do both. Like I rap, you know.
It
And
all.
yeah, but I don't want to come off ever like, I don't know, because I feel like I'm very like I never want to come off I like I am better, like, you know, like I humble myself to being like, you know, a certain way, but like I shouldn't, you know, at the same time. But yeah, I remember someone saying that, and there's a lot of times where people have doubted, like, you know, that I make music or make good music, you know. So I don't know, and I feel like I'm still gonna run into those people that will look at me and just be like, you know, I don't believe you. But it's okay, because I don't need no one's approval. I'm gonna keep doing it, you know.
That's right. I think you touched on a lot of things, right? Being able to recognize that you don't need that external validation, right? Being able to recognize that that's there, right? Those different stereotypes, the doubts, assumptions, right? But at the same time, taking a step back and being like, I know who I am, and I know what I got. You know what I mean? And you have that gift. And I think being able to also, right, when you're talking about this idea of being humble, right? I think a lot of the times, as people of color, specifically as women of color, right, that's even more drilled. Like you got to be real humble, you got to be this and that. But at the same time, I think it's really important for us to celebrate ourselves, right, and to practice loving ourselves. And part of that is being able to vocalize those things, right? And I think it's so important to be able to say, you know, yes, I am this. Yes, I am doing this. And not from a place of ego, right? But from a place of love, right? I love myself. I love my work. I am connected, to myself, to my gifts, to my offerings, and being able to stand in that power, to stand in that magic, right? And so I think it's really, really important, right, to really take a step back and be like, okay, yes, we have humble, right, but not thinking about this idea of humble as like minimizing ourselves, right, or undermining our work. Because I struggle a lot with that as well. Like, oh no, I don't want to come off like, a certain way. I don't want to intimidate someone, or I don't want to do this. But the thing is that if you're surrounded by people who honor you, who celebrate you, um, they're not going to be threatened by you. That they're going to celebrate you and being able to see themselves in you, right? And being able to really, as cliche as it sounds, right? Like being able to shine together, right? Like that light that you're providing. It's not like, oh, whose light is brighter. It's more like, oh, shoot, look at all of us right here, right? And so that's one thing that I did have to learn, right? That pressure, that feeling of like, oh, I don't want to come off some type of way.
Yes.
It's also a reflection of the people who were around, and the energy that we're allowing to take that control over us, right? But being able to be like, no, I'm breaking all of that. And even how you said, right, like being shy and being like, oh, and then people are like, wait, what? You know? I think a lot of the times is also being able to rethink those things, right? I think a lot of the times we think about this idea of this is out of my comfort zone, or oh, I'm just shy around this, which of course, right, we all have our own different characteristics and everything. But at the same time, I also like to really rethink that idea. Is it really out of my comfort zone? Is it really that I'm shy, or is it that I have been silencing myself and hiding myself to not be seen, to not be heard, right? And so I think it's really dope to be like, okay, you discovered it, but really what you were doing is you were tapping into your authentic self. You know what I mean? Like you weren't discovering something new, right? That spoke to something within you already, right? And also moving past that, like I said, that idea that it's like, oh, you know, I'm shy or I'm this, which may be the case, right? I struggle with that a lot. I was shaking right before we were about to go on. But I have those extremes too, right? I have that super shy, but then I can go on for days and I feel like there's so much I want to share. There's so much, you know, creative mediums that I want to take. So it's not the comfort zone. It's the ways in which we have been silenced. You know, so I think it's really powerful to be able to take up that space, you know, reclaim that space, and really give yourself the love that you deserve, you know, because
Yes.
like we out here like loving your work and loving you, and sometimes it's like ourselves that's the most, you know, toxic relationship that we have, or unhealthy relationship we have, is our own inner critic, right? And like, oh, let me downplay this. Oh, I don't know about that. And it's like, no, step into that, you know, step into your glory, step into your power. And those who, you know, are with you and that surround you are going to be on a similar wavelength. So I did want to bring up and see if y'all want to share anything else. And also please share where folks can find your work. Again, where can folks purchase the merch? And anything else you want to leave us with? Any messages?
Let's plug the merchant again.
Yeah. So so the merch, I don't have like a website or anything, but I do like deliver or ship. I do that. So if anyone wants to DM me personally, and I will send you a shirt. So again, I have the black Saving the People shirts, and I have the Sagittarius logo.
Yes.
Probably mirrored, but
yeah, like that. And I have the navy blue Sagittarius, and I have the green Saving the People again. It's in this color, and then I have the character, the flying.
So can I
all
ask?
available.
Oh, perdón, what was that?
Oh, all available at Verde Hip Hop on Instagram.
There you go. There you have it. I need that neon green one. So I'll be hitting you up. And also I want to see. I feel like we don't, you know, play CDs anymore. And I have this little old school like CD player, right? And like in it radio y todo. And I'm like, man, where are my CDs? That used to be my thing, you know? I would even create my own little mixes or like playlists, or make my own tunes and just like put it together. And I think that'd be really dope of like bringing that back, right? And the CDs. So I'll definitely be hitting you up about that. But I did want to say, se me olvidó. What was I going to share? So you were sharing the merch. Mm-hmm. I was like, I lost my train of thought because I'm over here talking about what I want already. I'm like, apartame the neon green. That's where my mind was. But se me pasó. I'm sure it'll come back. But yes. And where can folks, again, you shared the Instagram and folks can find your work everywhere. And anywhere. Oh, I remember now. See, it comes back. So I had the question. So why verde?
Why verde? Wow, that's a good question. See, because honestly, I feel like no one's asked me that, and I feel like that's kind of important. Or I don't know.
The first thing, like before we even came on, I was like, the first thing I'm gonna ask him is that. So I'm glad that it came back to me. I always want to know, right, like the concept and everything that comes behind that.
Yes. So Verde actually. So my name is Berenice. So but I spell it with a V, and so my friend, I told my friend that I had just met my friend, and he was like, "Oh, can I call you Verde? Cause of how I spelled it." So I was like, "Yeah, I actually like that." And green's like my favorite color. So I've never thought of that, but so that's how it even came. But then I thought about like, okay, but this does have so much meaning, because like the world, the universe, Pachamama is green, and nature, nature, just I love being in nature, and it fits so well. I'm always in a park. I'm always, um I just love being in nature, and that I feel like that has so much connection, because it's like it's life, and it's mother nature, and it brings back like the mujer, and I think that's really important. And and yeah, honestly, that's why. And I love green. That's my favorite color.
And you have a green background right now with Pachamama. I'm just like, yes. No necesitas un backdrop because you got the earth behind you, underneath you, above us, everywhere. So thank you. I'm glad I didn't forget, because I was like, I have to ask him. And I was like, I can't let it go. Like there was something still. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And I think it's really powerful too, that it's almost like similar to what we were talking about with some of the other songs, that it kind of came naturally, that it kind of just came to you. You know what I mean? So I think that's really powerful too. And then from there, you see how it speaks to you, and kind of take that on, right? But being able to be like, oh, that just like it came in, and that's me, and that's my work, and then you take so much meaning from it, right? And it reflects so much of the work you do, who you are, all of these different things. Um, cool. So it was super dope to share virtual space with y'all, to hear your palabra, your medicine, to heal through movement. So thank you. I think this couldn't have came at a better time. And I'm sure that a lot of folks who did join, there was folks from Mexico, from the Bay Area, from SoCal. And so I was like chiming in while y'all were, because we also were on Instagram for a while, Instagram Live, and as well as YouTube. So yeah, thank you again so much for taking that time, and I know we went over because we could be here forever.
And we could keep going.
I'm like, next song. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I wanted to say thank you, in honoring the time, and that you carved out to share this space with us, for folks who joined us, tuned in, and also for everyone who will continue to watch this, right? That it will be there on YouTube for you to share, for folks to listen to, right? Not only the music, but the meaning behind it, getting to know more of you, and also the critical conversations that we were having. So thank you so much. I don't know if y'all have any closing thoughts.
Oh, I got a closing thought actually. I want to let you close though. But
know where you can find him?
Oh yeah, I'm Amon. You can find me at Amon the MC on Instagram. That's AMON THEMC. Amon stands for ambition made of negativity. So instead of letting all the negative energy around you bring you down, you could also use it as the fire that builds you up. So that's great in this time, because there's so much negative and hatred right now. And on that note too, if you're looking at the media on what's going on, I really want you guys to go out there and see what's really happening, what it's about. Last night we were at a visual, we were at a peaceful protest, just honoring the dead, the people that are, were meant to be left voiceless if it wasn't for this movement. And we were being attacked, and they're going to say so many different things because people started looting and stuff, but it's because they were outnumbered and they used unfair methods of trying to disperse us and trying to take us down and suppress us. Last night there was no curfew. They changed that while we were at the protest to give us a reason to be attacked as for violating some law when we were doing our peaceful protests. Not to mention that when there was the whole COVID lockdown, there was many people coming out with guns and being in the faces of police officers, and nothing happened to them. And we're out here honoring the dead being attacked. So I just want to say that anybody that goes out there, please like check the looters, you know, because I mean the reason why I could see why they would do it is because nothing makes sense when you're peacefully protesting and being attacked, and there's no way to attack the cops back without having detrimental effects on not only like your life but like people near you, you know. So people are gonna, you know, attack what they can, you know, and the buildings are the closest things. I don't say that it's right, but it's also not right to kill people and hide behind a badge, you know. So I just want to say, like, if you see people looting, like we saw people trying to loot and it was stopped very quickly, and but they're not going to show that part. But I just want to say, I want you guys to like see what's really going on. Don't just believe what the media is telling you, because it's crazy when you actually see it firsthand. And yeah, so don't let the people blind you. And we need more people to keep going, because this is like the next civil rights movement. This is it right now. We're living history right now, and the power is us. Like, we each have power, and everybody that comes out, that's just more power that we have. And they're going to keep suppressing it until they can let this just blow over, but it's not going to, because we're sick and tired. And it's not just because of George Floyd, it's because of everybody else as well. This is a domino effect, and this is just the last domino, or it might not even be that, but this is where we take our stand and let them know that this isn't okay, and we're going to keep standing up until something's done. So I just want to end on that note.
Yeah, thank you for that powerful message. One, I think that I wonder too, like what your like Aman the MC meant, right? And so I think that's really dope, right? And being able to like again twist that. It's almost like again that similar thing, right? Where you're taking something, that destruction, and then you're creating something from it, right? And I think also there's a lot of folks who do feel helpless, you know, or feel hopeless, in the sense that it's like, man, we're still in this, you know, in these situations, in this world, like we still live in this world where we have to fight for our dignity, for our freedom, you know. And so I think it's really powerful to have folks who are doing the music, who are, you know, creating in so many different ways, who are able to hold on to that hope, right? And I think that's so important, because the moment that we lose hope, the moment that we think we no longer have that power or that vision or that possibility of a new world, then pues ahí está, you know, ahí quedó. But it's being able to continue and really center that within the work that we're doing, and being able to hold that when other people can't, you know, which completely makes sense. And really, I like what you said too, of like, this is a movement right now, you know. And it's wild, because I was like, I had seen this coming, and I was like, oh, this is what I was, you know, talking about. And so being able to see that uprising, that awakening, I think is really, really powerful to be experiencing that, although it can be very painful as well. But really centering, you know, this vision that we have, you know, this fight for our liberation, you know, of our people, and through music, through different creative mediums, through different forms of protest, right? Protesting is not just going out on the streets. Protest, like music, is protest, right? Taking care of yourself, right? Centering you, taking care of your wellness. That's a form of protesting a system, a world that we live in that does not, you know, center those things, or that it's a form of resistance as well, right? So I just want to say that too, like, dope that y'all are on the streets. You know, I've been there too, and it's wild. Like, when you see that happening, you're just like, man, this is so much levels of corruption right now. But I think also being able to realize that the music that y'all are providing, the work that y'all are doing, is also a form of protest. Yeah, I know you, let's have the closing. We're ready.
I mean, I loved what he said. Honestly, that's I feel like that's what we should end on. And don't fear. Honestly, that's a big thing too. Like, this is all they're trying to make you scared, and we're just gonna keep standing and placing our ground. And
Yeah,
just
that's true. That's true. It's that fear that takes away our power, but it's like,
not today.
okay, not tomorrow.
I know I keep looking up because there's like legit like helicopters
I know.
that keep.
I don't know if you can hear it.
Yeah,
I can't actually. I hear like a little bird, which is nice.
Oh,
I love this backyard. It's so beautiful. No, but I swear there's been at least like
The entire.
I know they're like circling around.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's because like we're not. I feel like we're only like 2 miles. We're 2 miles away from downtown, and we're a mile away from downtown. So it's
So you're right at the center.
Yeah. But I'm in a pretty good neighborhood, so like they're not gonna loot us, but it's still crazy that it's right there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, y'all. Well, I will let y'all go. Stay up. Continue to do the amazing work that y'all are doing, and take care of yourself. That's number one, right? That we're making sure that we are well, so that we're able to continue doing the work that we're doing and have it be sustainable. So, muchos thank yous. Un abrazo, and we'll talk soon. Also, feel free to share this link with anyone, so folks can watch when they get the chance.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Stay safe.
Y'all too much. Y'all too much. Y'all too. I'm like, y'all too much. I meant like, I appreciate y'all a lot. There you go. That's better. En vivo though, you know, we get all the rawness, right? Anyways, nos vemos. Cuídense. Buenas noches. Thank you once again, and we'll stay in touch. Bye.
Yes, love you.
Love you too. Bye.